Hey guys, it's Generic. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be making a simple animation using code.org. So let's go ahead and get started. If you are logged in, which of course you want to be logged in so that you can save your work, right next to your login name, there should be a button that says Create. If you click on that, we're going to do this using Sprite Lab, which is the one at the top. Once we have Sprite Lab open, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and get some of our backgrounds. I'm actually going to do 4 backgrounds in this because I've pre-planned it. So I'm just going to grab all 4 of them at once. I'm going to go here and click on World and get 4 of these. Some computers will also let you right click and copy. Some won't. It depends. Most won't, actually. That is one thing that I like about Scratch a bit better than code.org. If any of you have ever coded in Scratch, if you haven't, by the way, I have a whole bunch of videos on that are going to start getting loaded later this week. But you can duplicate large chunks of text or even one box at a time, or one block, excuse me, at a time. In any case, for this animation, we are going to remake the old meme, Charlie Bit My Finger. If you haven't seen it, feel free to pull it up here on YouTube somewhere or excuse me, ask somebody, whatever. Charlie Bit My Finger is, I believe, about 12 years old, and it's 2 boys from the UK, one that's kind of a toddler, one that's an infant, sitting together on a chair. The infant is in front, and he bites the toddler's finger, the kid, his brother who's sitting behind him. And the kid says in a British accent, Charlie bit my finger. And the baby laughs about the fact that he bit his finger, and then he does it again even harder. And then the kid kind of screams, ow, ow, Charlie, ow. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. All right, so we're going to put our names here in the beginning. If you're doing this for a project, you're probably going to want some kind of an introduction or a section where you name things. And we're just going to move these other ones to the side for now that I know we will be using later. And we're going to click the drop down box here and more to go ahead and click all 4 of our backgrounds. I'm going to use this one that looks like notebook paper somewhere. I know it exists. Did I blow by it already? But I'm going to do the one that looks like notebook paper. I'm also going to do one that has a couch on it. How did I miss the notebook paper? There it is. So I'm going to do the notebook paper. I'm going to also do the couch, which I just saw somewhere. This one, instead of using a chair as a prop, I'm actually just going to use the couch with the background. And then I'm going to get something for the ending that's like a little thanks for watching and a link to the original. Let's get something kind of basic, more like a pattern than a, here, we'll get that one. And I don't know, this one. So we're going to click done. I've highlighted all 4 of those, or rather clicked the plus on all 4 of those. So now when I go to my background drop down, it's going to have the defaults, but it's also going to have those 4 that I picked. And those are the 4 that I need for this. So I'll pick this notebook looking one for the beginning for my little intro. And I'm going to go to text and get this show title screen. And I'm going to go ahead and put my title in here, which is Charlie Bit My Finger. I guess since it's a title, I should probably capitalize each of those. And then I'm going to go down here to the subtitle and put my name so they know who did it. If you're using this for a project or presentation, say for school or for work, you're obviously going to have some information that you want to fit here. The subtitle is always going to appear smaller than the title. You could also go in and do these as text with just using the print button, but you have a little bit more versatility, I guess, with the title screen because you can hide it and kind of choose how long it's up there. So I just think it's a little more useful. It's also bigger. So bye. There we go. All right. So that's my whole intro. I want this to stay up long enough for people to read it. Industry standard is pretty much the average adult reading something through twice. So it would take me like Charlie Bit My Finger by Generic, Charlie Bit My Finger by Jen Eric. That's like 2, at most 3 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and do it for 5, just because I know that this particular animation is going to have some younger kids watching it and they may not read as quickly. So I'm going to go here to Events and get this at 3 seconds, and I'm going to change it to say 5 seconds so that that intro is up for 5 seconds. After that, everything that I want to happen will go here. So I will have my background change, I'll start introducing my characters, etc., etc. I'm going to have to show you a little trick, but I will do that in a minute, because once I start putting my characters on here, they will not show up because it has not been 5 seconds of runtime. So I'm going to show you a little trick for figuring out where your characters go, but we'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to switch my background after 5 seconds to this one with the couch, which is the one for my main part of the animation. I'm also going to go back to text and get that hide title screen so that it will hide the Charlie Bit My Finger by Jen Eric. And then I'm going to start adding in my characters, my sprites. And I'm going to have both boys. So I'm going to go to sprites. And I know that I need 2. And then just like I picked all my backgrounds in the beginning, I'm going to click on the drop down and go to costumes and go ahead and pick both of my sprites now. In fact, I'm even going to pick my third sprite. I'm going to make a little sprite that kind of looks like me. I'm not going to spend too much time on it to use for my thanks for watching screen. So it looks like I'm popping up on it. So I go here to new costumes. There are already some of the most commonly used ones that we see in the drop down here, but there's tons more if you click on new costume. And we could do faces, but I actually want their whole bodies. So I'm going to go to people. And I want to stick with the same look. So these people all kind of match. Obviously, this person is drastically different. And this one that was up here is more cartoonish, I guess, for lack of a better term. They have giant heads. And then these ones look very different than these. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with this type here so that the 2 boys match. And I'm going to get one, let's see. I'm going to get this one and this one so that he can turn. You can see how this is the same little kid, but just facing 2 different directions. And then I'm also going to get, we'll go ahead and use this one. Now in the actual video, they both have a very similar skin tone, whereas these 2 kids don't for the sprites. I don't feel like it matters that much, but if that really bothers you and you want to make some adjustments, or if you just want to change like a hair color or make it look more like you can do that as well right here with all the paint. But we're not going to mess with that right now. And I said I was going to get myself and I forgot. So let me go find, let's see, who looks like a teacher? I don't know. I'm just going to pick her. There we go. That'll be me. So now I have myself for the thanks for watching, these 2 for the little baby, these 2 for the toddler so that they can change positions, because remember we are making an animation. This is the simplest type of animation. There's not actually a lot that's going to be animated, but if you're interested in longer, more complex animations, I would suggest you check out some of my videos, like I said, that I'm going to post here in the next few days, where I teach scratch.mit.edu, because that has a lot more, versatility. Okay. So we have our people. I'm going to click on code to go back. And I'm going to now change this bunny to the boy that's going to be in the back. I'm going to have him looking to the right, because that's how they start off in the original. And then I'm going to take this kid and have him be the baby, also looking to the right. Now here's where I said I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick. Right now, I can't see where these kids are. If you click this little pin that says 200, 200, that's the location on the screen. Down here being 0, 0, this is just the top right quadrant if you're used to XY coordinates. I can't really see where the kid is when I'm moving this around, and that's kind of annoying. There are several ways you can combat that. Here's what I usually do. I just go ahead and take off my intro and move it out of the way and click everything on when run, which I will put back down here. Now I can see my backdrop and the little sprites that are my kids so that I can tell where they're supposed to go. Now it's really easy to click this and drag him around and decide where he should go. So I'm going to put him, I don't know, right about here. And I want to actually make him a bit bigger, even though he's probably pretty to scale with that couch. But in the original, he takes up a really big section. So I'm going to go up here to sprites and get set size and set his size. So I have to change this to the boy with looking right with that little bowl cut. And I'm going to change his size to, let's try 120. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. So we have him there. Then I'm going to click on the pin for the younger boy. Here, we'll just let them stand on the couch. Rotten children standing on the furniture. All right. I think that's pretty good. So we're just going to leave him at the default size. I'm going to go up here and show you, though, if you wanted to change the younger boy's size, you could go in here like this, choose him looking to the right again, and change his size. I'm going to put it at 100 just so that I'm sure that it's always going to be at the size I want it to be. But the default is 100, so yours will probably be that way even without this block. All right, now we have that. After that's there for a few seconds, and remember, it's starting after 5 seconds, we want them to actually say some stuff. So I'm going to have the baby, turn his head. So let's get a events. How about we have the intro for 5 seconds. So let's just do 7 seconds. 2 seconds of sitting there just staring at these children is going to be plenty. After about 7 seconds, we're going to have, let's see. Wish I could show you guys the original without having copyright issues. But in the original, I will just explain it. The baby actually makes kind of a noise, like a or something. So I'm going to have him turn his head and make that noise. I think he actually makes the noise first. So I'm going to go up here to world. And I'm going to go down here to play sound. Now, unfortunately, code.org doesn't really have a good way for you to record your own sound. It has at sometimes had that ability, then they took it away, then they brought it back, but it was really glitchy. As of right now, I think you can't, again, record your own sound. If you guys find a way to record your own sound, post it down in the comments below. Let me know. But I'm going to look for he kind of does almost like a little laugh. Let's see what we have here. That's a guy with a deep voice. Not sure if you can hear it, but that's not going to work. This is a woman just literally going, ah, ha, ha. And that's also a woman just going, ha. But little kids' voices are usually higher pitched, a little closer to a woman than the man who has the really deep voice. So I'm going to choose this character Kimberly mocking laugh. That's the closest they seem to have. And at 7 seconds, I'm going to have that play when I have this baby turn his head. So again, I'm going to go back up here to sprites. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Where is it? Here we go. And I'm going to tell it to change the baby's costume. So he's looking to the right, remember, to looking forward. So at 7 seconds, he should turn this way and then go, ah. So let's go ahead and test out what we have so far. Now remember, we have to put this back after 5 seconds and put our intro because believe it or not, we're about halfway done already. Now this is a bit of a mess as far as the code goes, but we'll clean that up in a minute. So Let's click run. Charlie Bit My Finger by Generic. That's going to be up there for about 5 seconds. Then it should switch backdrops. 2 more seconds. Ah, and he turns. There we go. We're halfway there. So we'll go ahead and take this back off so that we can keep testing where things go. After 7 seconds, we have him turn, say ha, then he bites his finger. So unfortunately, the arms don't move on these. If you really wanted to make it look like the arms moved, you could go into sprites and draw your own, change their eyes, move their hands up, that kind of thing. Since this is a simplified one, I'm not going to go ahead and do that. That just kind of depends on your animation skills, I guess. So we're going to make this kid change his costume. And I don't want it to be the exact same second that the baby turns. So I'm going to go ahead and get another event and do it at, I don't know, 8 seconds so that it can be right afterwards. Change the toddler so he looks like this. We're going to make him look forward, and then we're going to make him say something. Now, yep, that works. Unfortunately, I've looked and they don't seem to really have a sound that says ow. No, I will look again just for the heck of it, I suppose. So we're going to go to choose sounds, and then we can try ouch. There's nothing there for that. I think I've tried like hurt. I've tried several things. I also tried looking through all the human ones because most of these are more bells and bings and bongs and bricks smashing and things like that, more for games. If you go in male voiceovers or female voiceovers, there's a lot of things like game over and hurry up, mission completed. But there's not one that's going to say ouch or Charlie bit my finger. So instead, we're going to make him talk a different way. That was me using air quotes, by the way. I know you can't see them. We can print with these quotes things for them to say. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Come on. And then have him say, Charlie bit me. I think that's what he says first. And when we actually run it, it's going to print it kind of like a speech bubble coming out of his mouth. He's going to basically say it. Actually, let's test that. I'm sorry, guys. I may be wrong. I may be thinking of Scratch. It may not make a speech bubble. It may just print it at the top of the page now that I think about it. Let's test it out. While we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and switch this back. Well, there we go. Yeah, it just says it at the top. So it's kind of a speech bubble, although it's not coming out of his mouth. It is still there. The main part I wanted to show you, though, was how to make these kids turn. Let's go ahead and finish this up. Like I said, if you want to do more complex animations, I will do a few more animations on code.org, but Scratch is a much easier place to do it. There are also programs like Vyond, Vyond, that you can make a very simple animation with. Not this simple, but a well done but simplistic animation. But to actually be able to export it or do much with it, you have to pay. So it's good to just mess around with it, but it's a paid system. And there are some other companies that provide that software as well, or that, a website that'll do that for you. So we now have our intro. After 5 seconds, we're going to have the couch show up. I told you I'd clean up this code a little, so let's get that done. I know a lot of you probably watch this at 1.5 speed anyways. Once you know how to code, you can kind of follow along at 1.5 speed, which is a good tip if you didn't know, by the way. Then at 7 seconds, we're going to have this happen. Then at 8 seconds, then the last thing we're going to do is just have The baby laugh again. Unfortunately, we don't have a good laugh, which we already know, but he thinks it's really funny that the kid is hurt. We're going to leave 2 seconds for them to read the speech bubble up here, and we will add the sound of that woman kind of more laughing. Instead of just ha, she at least says ha ha ha. We'll put that one. And then we'll go ahead and finish up with our backdrops, our backgrounds. So we'll leave that one from 10 seconds to, I don't know, maybe 12 seconds. So at 12 seconds, we'll go in here and switch our backdrop and say, thanks for watching. Let's see. I think I'll do this one. And remember, we had that sprite that I made to look like me. I will have that little sprite up here. Yeah, in the middle is probably fine. So I'm not going to mess with the pin and changing it. I will move it over so you can see that it's at 200, 200 though. That's the default. And then I'm going to have it say, let's see. Actually, I take it back. I'm going to use another title screen. Dang it, that's where the speech bubbles were. I totally forgot. Rather than go back and edit this, I think it's good for people to see that everyone makes mistakes and that it's not that big of a deal. I'm far from perfect. This is how you say it, which I totally forgot. So I'm going to take this down here to the Charlie Bit Me and swap it out. I knew there was a way. All right. So I will change this to the forward facing toddler. And instead of having it say hello world, I'm going to have him say Charlie Bit Me. And the baby will laugh. Then our backdrop will switch. And you know what? I don't even want to print it at the top. Let's just have me also say thanks for watching in a speech bubble. Oh, I'm ridiculous. Where did I find that, guys? I have a feeling there we go. The feeling you guys are all like, it's right there. Generic, it's right there. All right, so there's just thanks for watching. And if you have, say, a requirement to have 4 backgrounds or there's just something else you want to say, you could wait a few more seconds, change your event to at, let's say, 15 seconds. I actually think that all of these should be a little longer. Give me 1 sec. 5 seconds, 6, 7, 8, 9. Use these a little bit just because, like I said, I forgot that young kids are going to be sometimes trying to do this, and it takes them a little longer to read. Well, that's probably close enough. You could add more in the middle as well because more actually happens in the original video. So we'll switch to this backdrop, and here I just want to put a link to the original to kind of give credit. So I'm going to do this as a title screen, and then this is where I would put my URL in. So I'll do like http:// blah, 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 blah. Pretend that's the URL as opposed to pasting it in here. And like I said, getting copyrighted. In fact, I think we could probably put it on the subtitle instead so that it would fit more easily because your URL is actually going to be pretty long probably. All right. That's super basic animation. The main difference between an animation and a game is that a game requires responses from the viewer. So they have to do something, they move a character around, they answer a question, they do a choose your own adventure, something like that. Whereas this is just something you watch, more of a presentation, an animation, a cartoon. And I chose to remake a small section of the Charlie Bit My Finger meme. So let's watch it one last time. Charlie Bit My Finger by Generic. There the kids are. He says, ha. He turns and says, Charlie bit me. The baby laughs about it. Oh, good thing we tested it because look what I forgot to do. I forgot to hide my two kids. So let's go back in there really quickly and do that. They both show up. Let's see, 7. I do want to change this. I should have just left it the way it was. So right here, when we have the background change, we also need to go in here to sprites. And I'm just going to get remove because we're not going to use either of these sprites again. I'm going to remove the forward facing because remember they're forward facing. The forward facing toddler and sprites, remove the forward facing. Sorry, that was the baby. This is the toddler. If you don't know, toddler is a young kid, like preschool age. They toddle around as opposed to an infant. All right, last test. Let's make sure it's okay. He's going to turn. Ha. Then the kid tried to bit me. And now the baby laughed. That needs to be a tiny bit longer in there. But otherwise, I think it's pretty good. We could also hide my character right here if we wanted. That's up to you what you do. Um, I am going to make this a little longer, though. I keep changing my mind about it. All right, there we go. So that's it. Since I figured out how to do the speech bubble, you don't need to leave that in below. But if you do find a way to put your own sound in there or a sound that you've copied from something to insert it into a code.org project, please leave a comment down below. Also, if you need help with anything you're trying to work on, I'm always happy to look at stuff. You have to publish it first, obviously, and then send me the link so that I can look at it. But I'm happy to help problem solve stuff. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.